Hey guys, what's going on? Gaming Jake here, and in this video, first of all, I need to say two things before I actually get into this video. First of all, it is 15 past 2 in the morning, so if my voice sounds a little low, reason being is because I don't want to wake up a house full of people. Second thing is this video will contain spoilers for episodes in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V, or I meant to say Arc V, Phi fit in there somehow. Arc V or Arc 5, whichever you want to call it, I'm going to call it Arc V. Up to the point with the whole Zarc era, when it comes to the U-Boys combining as one, when it comes to Akaba Leo's whole, originate the first world type of thing. So if you don't want any spoilers about that, and you probably just got a handful, then feel free to exit the video at any time. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and get right along into this. So I'm going to basically start by giving off a little backstory about Zarc. So the four dimensions that are introduced in the series, the Synchro, the Standard, the Standard, the Fusion, and the Xyz, they are all different copies of each other. They used to be one world, which was the original world, the first world, and in that world was a boy named Zarc. Zarc was an entertainment duelist who ended up getting fed up with his power. He was the one that had each copy of the four dimension dragons: Odd Eyes, Dark Rebellion, Clear Wing, and Starving Venom. So he was the guy that had all four. He ended up getting a lust for power, and he ended up gaining the ability to fuse himself with the four dragons. And in doing so, he was destroying towns, destroying cities, countries maybe. It was a pretty big mess. So this one professor, Akaba Leo, his daughter ended up standing up, and she ended up defeating Zarc. In doing so, that split up the world into four different dimensions: the Xyz, the Standard, the Synchro, and the Fusion. So that's how that all came to be. Zarc himself subconsciously lives in each of the four boys' mind. He lives in the back of Yuya's head, he lives in the back of Yuri's, he lives in the back of Yuto's and Yugo's mind. So the whole berserk mode thing is Zarc being activated or sparking up for that moment when they're dueling. So we see it with Yuya a lot, especially we see it with Yuya for the first time after he gets Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon in the dueling tournament, and then we see it again when he duels the Obelisk Task Force, and that's when Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon became a thing, and everyone was freaking out because Xyz Pendulum started becoming a thing. And then I believe also when he dueled Crow in the Synchro dimension, he also got in Berserk mode, and he's done it multiple times before. Some of the other U-Boys have as well, but Yuya is the prime candidate for Berserk mode. Reason being is his eyes turn crimson. I want to say that this differentiates him from the other three boys, because each of the other three boys, their eyes, they just glow one color. Yuto's glows purple, or like dark pink. Yuri's glows the opposite of Yuto. It glows either purple or dark pink. Xyz and Fusion, they both sort of have the same color scheme, especially when it comes to Yuri and Yuto. So their eyes are like pink, or I can't remember exactly. And Yuto's is a light greenish white, if I recall. And then Yuya's doesn't have a distinct color. His eyes, he still has eyes, he still has his pupils, whereas the other three boys, their entire eye, their pupil, everything is gone. It's like you're looking at an anime creepypasta sort of type of thing. So I want to say that differentiates Yuya in the sense of he is going to be the prime vessel for Zarc, because of the crimson eyes. I'm going to say that those used to be Zarc's eyes. So that's where I'm getting that from. And then, it's funny because he actually has a card called Odd Eyes, and he's got the whole Crimson Eyes Berserk mode thing. So that's another a twisty thing. But so a few weeks ago, we got some new Pendulum Magician support or new cards in regarding each of the different Dimension Dragons. So we got 6 new Magician Pendulum cards, 4 of which represent each Dimension Dragon, and then the other 2 represent Time Gazer and Stargazer. So I'm going to be going over all 6 of them. Basically, I'm going to start with the Dimension Dragons. So for the Odd Eyes representative, we have Iris Magician. It's a scale 8, level 4 Magician. For the Dark Rebellion representative, we have Black Fang. It's a level 4 Dark Spellcaster, Magician, Pendulum. And then for Clearwing, we have White Wing Magician. It's a tuner, Pendulum, level 4 Wind Attribute Spellcaster. For Starving Venom, we have Violent Poison, which is a level 4 Dark Spellcaster Pendulum monster. So all these pretty much fit the same criteria, level 4 Pendulum Spellcaster. White Wing is the only one that's a tuner, and White Wing is also the only one that's a Wind attribute. The other 3 are Dark. Similar to how, when it comes to their dragon counterparts, Odd Eyes is Dark, Dark Rebellion is Dark, Starving Venom is Dark, and Clearwing is Wind. So, me personally, I always found that weird how 3/4 of them were Dark and the 1 was Wind. That struck me a little bit odd. Odd Eyes. But so we have each of those 4 cards. They do have different effects when they're in their Pendulum Zone and when they're also destroyed, but I'm not going to be covering that because that's not the main criteria of this video. And then we have the new representatives for Time Gazer and Stargazer. We have Astrograph Magician, which I believe is the Stargazer representative. If it's in your Pendulum Zone, you can destroy it, place Stargazer from deck into Pen Zone, and its monster effect, if a card, or if a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon Astrograph from your hand, then add a copy of the destroyed monster to your hand from your deck. So a simple way to put that is if you have a Dark Magician on the field, you have Astrograph Magician in your hand. If your Dark Magician gets destroyed by battle or by something like Dark Hole, then you can special summon Astrograph from your hand, and if you do, you can add a Dark Magician from your deck to your hand. That's its monster effect, and I already said it's Pendulum. Then we have Chronograph Magician, which is the Time Gazer representative. It has the same effect for the Pendulum Zone, except for instead of Stargazer, it's Time Gazer. It has the same effect for its monster. If a card you control is destroyed, you can special summon it and then add a same copy. So I'm hoping that I clear that up for you. They also both have a third effect, or a second effect in their monster, but a third effect overall, which is the whole purpose of this video. They both have the effect to where if you banish a Fusion Dragon monster, a Xyz Dragon monster, a Synchro Dragon monster, and a Pendulum Dragon monster, plus itself, if you banish all 5 monsters, then you can special summon Supreme Dragon King Zarc, or Supreme King Dragon Zarc. I'm not exactly sure how the word fits in. But so basically in this video, I'm going to be covering a hypothesis, theory, etc. discussion about what I think the ability and the stats for Zarc's card is going to be. So I looked on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro a minute ago, and I'm going to look again. When I type in Zarc on the card search, Astrograph and Chronograph both appear. If I scroll down and read Chrono's ability, it says Supreme King Dragon Zarc. But when I look at like Yu-Gi-Oh! Wika, it says Supreme Dragon King Zarc. Wait, that sounded the same. Hold on. Give me a moment. Zarc. Okay. No, I had it written down as Supreme Dragon King Zarc when Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro has it as Supreme King Dragon Zarc. So for the sake of this video and for simplicity, I'm just going to call it Zarc. So, when it comes to Astrograph and Chronograph's ability, when it meets the criteria of having an Xyz Dragon, a Pendulum Dragon, a Synchro, and a Fusion Dragon, it doesn't mean you have to have a Synchro Dragon type monster. For instance, Stardust Dragon, Void Ogre, Red Dragon Archfiend. It means you literally have to have a monster whose name has Fusion Dragon, Synchro Dragon, Pendulum Dragon, or Xyz Dragon in its name on the field. So, and a reason why we have those representatives for each of the Dimension Dragon is because while they're on the field and in the extra deck, they're, or I guess just in overall, they apply, or they don't apply, but their names apply to always be a Pendulum Dragon card or a Xyz Dragon card. So the Odd Eyes representative, which is called Iris Magician, is always treated as a Pendulum Dragon monster. And then same thing for Black Fang. Black Fang is always treated as a Xyz Dragon. White Wing is always treated as a Synchro Dragon, and Violent Poison is always treated as a Fusion Dragon. So the point of the combo is to have all 4 of those Pendulum monsters on the field with either Astrograph or Chronograph, banish all 5 of those monsters to summon out Zarc. So Zarc's ability, attack, defense, and level are not confirmed yet. So, however, I debate they will be very, very soon, especially within the next coming episodes, because in tomorrow's episode, we get the actual beginning of the Yuya versus Yuri duel. I hope it's a 3-parter. It probably isn't. It's probably going to be a 2-parter if Zarc doesn't interrupt, and that's what I expect is going to happen. I suspect it's going to be a 2-parter. The duel ends with all the dragons clashing or something. Zarc interrupts. Berserk mode goes insane, or maybe Akaba Leo interrupts. I'm not exactly sure. But so I have took it upon myself to create effect, attack, defense points, and levels for Zarc. I have 2 different variations, and I'm going to read each of them to you all. So I'm going to post up a picture and everything, etc. The image for Zarc I have is official. I believe it's later this month, the 17th. It's either mid or late this month. We're getting the actual card package for Zarc. So it is very soon this month. So yeah, the image for the cards I'm showing it's real, it's confirmed, and etc. So the first effect I have, and this is the one that I think is the most unlikely between the 2 that I'm going to show. It requires Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, and Starve or Starving, whichever, Venom Fusion Dragon as its fusion materials. It's a 4,500 attack, 4,000 defense, level 12 Dark Fusion effect. With that being said, I'm going to read its effect. This card must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Unaffected by other card effects, once per turn, you can return one of the listed type of monsters that you have banished to your deck. And if you do, apply the corresponding effect of the returned card. So I know I said that a bit sketchy, like, apply the corresponding effect of the returned card. Yeah, I know that sounds a bit up and downy. Alright, so basically, what I've made it is to where if you return a banished Pendulum monster, a banished Xyz monster, a banished Synchro monster, and a banished Fusion monster, you're going to get a different effect. Now, I feel really bad because Ritual is nowhere when it comes to the whole Dimension Dragon things, and I feel pretty bad because we do have Odd Eyes Gravity Dragon, but you know. Alright, so if you return a banished Pendulum monster to your deck, then you are allowed to banish all spells and traps your opponent controls. If you return a banished Xyz monster to your extra deck, then all monsters your opponent controls whose level and rank that are lower than Zarc's are shuffled into the deck. And because this thing is a level 12, the only thing it can't really shuffle would be anything that is level 12. Which I guess would only, the only playable card that's level 12 is Quasar, Red Nova, Halberd, and Ultimaya. I think Ultimaya is a level 12 because of its effect. So if you return a banished Synchro to the extra deck, banish all tuners from your opponent's hand and graveyard. If you return a fusion monster, or if you return a banished fusion monster to the extra deck, then you can special summon as many fusion material monsters from your opponent's graveyard as possible onto their field. Their effects are negated and their attack and defense become 0. So basically, when you return a fusion, it just mimics the effect of that new polymerization card. Transditional, I believe. Nope. Okay. Is it poly or fusion? Polymerization. I'm gonna get this right here. Hold on. Pay 2,000 life points. Spell card. Transcendental polymerization. So basically what this card allows you to do is you can banish it from your graveyard, target one fusion summoned monster that was summoned by this card's effect, special summon all the fusion materials that were used for its fusion summoned from your graveyard, but their attack and defense become 0, also have their effects negated. So it's very similar to what I have for Zarc. It's what I got the inspiration from. With that being said, you can only use the effect of Supreme Dragon King Zarc once per turn, and you can only control one Supreme Dragon King Zarc. So the reason I think that this is the most likely out of the two that I'm going to show you is because of its ability and with the new support we have. So its ability obviously requires you to banish a monster type, whether that be Pendulum, Xyz, Synchro, or Fusion, not a monster with that name. So, with that being said, if we use the support that's been out, we use Iris Magician, we use Black Fang, White Wing, and Violent Poison, along with Astro or Chronograph, then all we're going to have are banished Pendulum monsters, which will only allow you to use the Pendulum version of this effect, which is to banish all spells and traps your opponent controls. Yes, this is a good thing, however, that doesn't allow you to get access to the Xyz, Synchro, and Fusion, but in all honesty, banishing your opponent's spells and traps is really good, so, and that's no complaining. If you happen to use the original method, which is its actual materials, Odd Eyes Pendulum, Dark Rebellion Xyz, Clear Wing Synchro, and Starving Venom Fusion, without Astrograph, then, for instance, Polymerization, then you're not going to have any of this card's materials banished, therefore nothing to activate its effects with. Now, if you do happen to use Odd Eyes Pendulum, Dark Rebellion Xyz, Clear Wing Synchro, and Starving Venom Fusion with Astro or Chronograph, then yes, this is possible, its effects will work, etc. However, the reason why that's most unlikely is because we have, that's the reason we have the new magician representatives for each of the dimensional dragons, is to make this card easier out to summon. So that's why I think that this is less likely. Because of the new support, it's basically flipping off the level 4 support that we got for Zarc. So that's the first card I have. The second one, pulling up now. Okay, the second one is a whole lot more clear. It's less stronger when it comes to attack and defense. However, its effect, in my opinion, makes more sense than the last. So, it's a level 12 Dark Dragon Fusion effect, 4,000 attack, 2,500 defense. I wanted one of its stats to be resembled into the majority of its split up counterparts. For instance, Odd Eyes, Clear Wing, and Dark Rebellion each share the same attack points, so that's why I put this card defense points as 2,500. When it comes to attack, this thing's at level 12. It's most likely going to be the Divine Neos of Arc V, or the Quasar of Arc V, so 4,000 attack points seems very fair. Maybe even 4,000 defense points, because that fits Quasar, because that fits the whole Quasar criteria. Sad to say, Divine Neos did not get that treatment, but I think Utopia Kaiser did. But anyway, so let's get on to this effect. 1 Pendulum Dragon Monster, 1 Xyz Dragon Monster, 1 Synchro Dragon Monster, and 1 Fusion Dragon Monster. Before I go any further, with its fusion materials, this allows you to use Brave Eyes, Rune Eyes, and Beast Eyes. It also allows you to use Dark Requiem, Crystal Wing, and Greedy Venom. So this card's fusion materials, it's a whole lot more vibrant. It branches out further. So with that being said, let's go more into its effect. This card must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. So Astrograph and Chronograph, their ability specifically says to fusion summon, or it says that this type of summon is treated as a fusion summon. So that works well with this. I think I've already stated that when I talked about the last card, but both the Graph Magicians are eligible with the first line of this effect. This card must be fusion summoned. This card's summon cannot be negated, so it is a bit stronger. It's hard to stop when it comes to versus Quasar, because you can solemn a Quasar. You can't solemn Zarc. So if this card is summoned by the effect of Astrograph or Chronograph Magician, this card gains the following effect. With that right there, it means that this card is pretty much a 4K beater if you don't use Astrograph's ability or Chronograph. So if you happen to use Astro and Chronograph, which is the most likely candidate, then these are the abilities that you're going to be getting. If this card battles an opponent's monster, any damage this card inflicts to your opponent is doubled. Once per turn, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack, and if it does, this card gains that lost attack. When a level 5 or when a level/rank 5 or higher monster activates its effect, you can negate that effect, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's attack. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls. Until the end of this turn, replace this effect with that monster's original effect. As you may have noticed, its effect, when it is fusion summoned by the effect of Astro and Chronograph, is a combination of all 4 of the Dimension Dragons, literally in order of which they were revealed. So it has the double damage, which is from Odd Eyes. It has the half to gain from Xyz Dragon. It has the negation effect from Clear Wing, and it has the copy effect from Starving Venom. Now, when it comes to, the reason why I thought that this card would be more likely is because I feel like Zarc is going to be useless unless it's summoned with Astro or Chronograph. Because otherwise, playing a Poly or Trump Witch or Trump Girl on field with your 4 dragons may seem a little bit too easy. However, I could be completely wrong. We could potentially see this thing as a 8,000 attack point monster level 1 with no effect whatsoever. I mean, Konami has done crazier crap before, they might as well. So I just feel like I don't think it's going to necessarily copy the same effects from their quarter counterparts. I don't think it's necessarily going to copy the exact ability of Clear Wing or of Starving Venom or of Dark Rebellion, since Odd Eyes' ability is plain and simple as that. I feel like if it's going to copy their counter's ability or their quarter's ability, it's obviously going to copy Odd Eyes. When it comes to Rebellion, it may just half the attack points and double the damage dealt, or it may just even half the attack points because it already has the double the damage from Odd Eyes. If it has Clear Wing, I feel like it may have the battle ability to where if it battles a level 5 or higher, then it can do that. However, that's Crystal Wing's ability. And then when it comes to Starving Venom, I was going to use the effect of when it's destroyed to destroy cards on the field, and that would give it something to do to when it's off the field. It's not just, well, I lost my most powerful card, GG. It's, well, I just lost my most powerful card, but there goes your Quasar. So, it can be used in that terms as well. I do think that in some way, shape, or form, Zarc is going to take something from each of the dragons, whether it's ability, whether it's its attack or defense. I feel like I feel like Zarc is going to copy something of each of the 4 dragons. And I just actually now got this thought. Maybe if Zarc leaves the field from any purpose, from Castell, from Absolute Zero, from, just leaves the field in general, that it summons one Pendulum Dragon, one Xyz Dragon, one Synchro Dragon, and one Fusion Dragon from your Banished zone, from your extra deck, from your graveyard, from anywhere pretty much. So maybe not from, maybe from Banished, but if they do it from Banished, it's got to be Banished only. So, obviously then you can get out your Magicians back on the field, your Iris Magician, your Black Fang, your White Wing, and your Violent Poison, and then all you need then to get out another Zarc is another Chrono or Astrograph. So yeah, that's what I have. That's what I think is what's going to be going on with Supreme King Dragon Zarc, or Supreme Dragon King Zarc, whichever you want to call it. They're just Zarc. But yeah, so that's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be similar to one of the two, to where either it has something to do, maybe it'll be like Dreamland, similar to what the first card I showed you all was, to where it gains a different effect depending on what type of monster you focus on, or maybe it's just going to gain an overall effect due to its fusion materials. So yeah, anyway guys, thank you all for watching. If you guys are as hyped as I am to see Zarc and to, just of Arc V in general, please don't forget to leave a like button, subscribe, and etc. for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. Not only do I do Yu-Gi-Oh, but I do a bunch, or not really a bunch, but I do different gaming stuff too. I'm getting back up in Pokemon. I missed out on this week's Pokemon episode because I had a friend over this week, yesterday, or not yesterday, but Thursday. And so I just completely lost track of time. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning. I got back from the bar. No, I'm kidding. But for real though, I had a friend over. We were contemplating life, and I just completely forgot about doing a video. And plus, if I did remember, I didn't really want to do a video because I had company over. So I apologize for that. Same thing may happen next week. But I do finish school with this semester, not this week, but the next. So by next Saturday, I should be good in the clear, not a whole lot more distractions. I may be going out of town later this month, but other than that, I'm good, I'm clear, videos all the way, and I may actually pre-record some stuff so that I can upload while I'm out of town. So anyway guys, thank you all for watching so much. Again, this is Gaming Jake, logging out, and have a good one.